We're at the end. What'd you guys think? Good day one? All right, that was a little bit of applause. How about for the speakers that we had today? Man, right? Who here had 3 favorite speakers? Yeah, speakers, I have heard, every one of you, I have heard people say that was the best session I've heard today. So congratulations, thank you for bringing your best. You had fans, every one of you, and thank you for bringing that here with us today. So again, thanks to the sponsors. Has anyone not talked to the sponsors yet? Go talk to our sponsors. Get to know them. Great people. Let's get our phones out. Pollev.com. Pollev is in like everywhere. Or if you're Danny, electric vehicle. Pollev.com. Type in CXps. So first exercise today. We'll keep this one easy. In one word, what theme stood out to you the most? Recession, trust, activation. Ooh, that's a fun one. Listen. Golden Girls. That's 2 words. Proactive, intentional. I like this. Adoption, engagement. I see some words are getting upvoted. ROI. Someone's calling in their favorite answer. Apparently, I need to add spam to the list. Considerate, intentional. That feels kind of like our day. Feels good. I love it. So let's go to the next one here. One key takeaway. I know we've covered a lot. You heard a lot of amazing sessions. There's probably like 10 takeaways from every session. So what's one key takeaway from today? And you can answer 2 or 3 times if you want to, but let's get one. Study trends and find insights. Create action plans. The connection between employee and client experience. Love that one. One size fits one. That's the difficult part of being in professional services, isn't it? One size fits one. CX is a pillar in a strategic plan. Use a pilot group. Involve clients in the creation of CX programming. Know your clients' incentives. That's a great one. Recession planning, designing websites with the client in mind. Never assume, always continue to ask questions. Say thank you to your clients. That was powerful. Build the loyalty before the recession hits hard. It's most important to help clients know we understand them and care about what success means to them. Listen to their nonverbal communication. Boy, that can come lots of ways. Are they taking longer to pay their bills? Lots of ways you can listen. Ask and ask again. Use care in mindset change asks. Be prepared to answer the value question. Be curious, not judgmental. CX is to and for your clients. Experience design is with your clients. Thank you, and you have done 1 million of these projects, but mine is 1 in 1 million to me. Ooh, that one's powerful. Strategy means deciding between what to do and what not to do. It's another tough one. Use client outcomes in describing your firm's value. Everything begins. I feel like that was a value-packed day. Good stuff. All right. So let's start synthesizing. We've We've gone from themes to key ideas. Let's go through the synthesis. So one of the hard parts about continuing education and coming to things like this is, what do I do next? So what I want to hear from you, reflect for a minute and ask yourself, what's one thing you're going to start doing when you go back to the office? If you had to distill today, and you're going to go home and say, what's the one thing I'm going to start doing when I go back? Show gratitude, develop a client persona, have leadership take the recession-proof survey. We have extra copies of it on the table, and if anyone wants a copy, please shoot me an email. Happy to send it to you. Set new CX key account plans. Design a key account strategy and plan with milestones and accountabilities. Andrea, sounds like people are paying attention. Talk CX all over the office. You guys, that's why we're doing the experience groups tonight. Asked to bring in Karen Jackson as a speaker. I heard great things about her too. Yeah, talk CX all over the office. Take groups out and go have an experience together. Just go to lunch with the team. And when you come back, talk about the experience together. Get your people thinking in the CX mindset. Handwritten thank you note, CX strategy to hedge recessions. Ensure staff are focused on being client-centric, listen more and speak less. Do a client assessment matrix. Think more about next level CX, EX, and take action immediately. Well, good. Sounds like we got some neat actions coming out of here. So last thing, what questions do you have that didn't get answered today? I know we've got a lot of introverts in the crowd, sometimes need some time to process. So what questions do you have that didn't get answered? And any speakers in the room can certainly jump in and answer questions. How do we make all this happen with little to no budget? That's a great question. Any speakers in the room want to take a stab at that? Andrea? Do we have a mic that we can pass around? Oh, it's right up here. All right, Andrea.
So for those of you in my session, I would just reiterate, or for those of you not in my session, not everything has to be a new addition. So start by auditing what you're already doing well, and then look for marginal improvements or consistency increases or how to transfer from one group to another or one client to another. So start with what you already have if you don't have a budget. Second, I would say, Second, I would also say, tie it back to ROI. So when you use a planning approach that sets revenue objectives, you can tie any investment back. So even with a little budget, you can tie it back to the growth, which will then reinvest back into your CX program. So set the expectation that not everything needs to be new or a $10 billion yacht rental for your clients. It can be starting with a lot of maximizing what you're already doing. Also, there's a lot of CX that's free. There's a lot of CX enhancements, relationship investments, relationship building that doesn't cost anything. So start with those.
Yeah, I'll leave the table, or the mic on the table down there in case anyone wants it. Yeah, Client Savvy has CX decks. It's like a 1-year CX plan in a box. They're free. Grab one if you want one. The cheapest, easiest thing you can do is just start talking about CX constantly with your team. I promise you things will get better. Another great thing if you don't have a budget is, what's the smallest thing you can do that's going to generate a positive ROI? You know, 4-figure, small 5-figure sum of investment in time. And if you can get buy-in for that and you can measure the return, pre-negotiate with your leaders that, hey, can we take some of the return and reinvest it into the next initiative? And if you're doing that well, by the time you've been through 2 or 3 initiatives, you now have a budget bigger than you know what to do, and you can spend all the CX money that you want because you're contributing back to the organization. There's not a leader out there who, if you give them a machine that they put $1 in, they get $5 out, they will find a stack of dollar bills. Let's see. Has anyone blended EOS or Traction with CX? We got one. All right. Benji, what are your thoughts on EOS and CX?
So we actually
Can we get the microphone so we get you on the tape?
We actually started with the deck. And so every, if you do EOS, you have the weekly meetings. Every weekly meeting, we read one card from the deck and talk about it and make action items or whatever off of it. And now every time we've done all those, and every meeting we have a question of like what clients need some love or wow. It's just, you know, a way to make sure we're engaging with the clients and showing them appreciation, that kind of stuff. And then we have, you know, different quarterly agendas or different quarterly rocks we may put in place to deal with client CX stuff. I can talk more later to anyone who wants more details.
Great. So Benji is CX and EOS together. So go find Benji at the networking mixer. Looks like there's a popular topic, why are there so many Ryans at Client Savvy? It's because I just got to hire better than myself. So, you know, that's all it is. How to reach more of those who aren't really committed? Speakers. Anyone want to tackle that one? How do we reach those who aren't committed? All right, Phil's coming up for the microphone. Nice.
Thanks for the test. So there's a couple different ways. Obviously, this is an individualistic kind of idea. One really good framework, it's a change management framework called ADKAR. Some of you may be familiar with it. If not, certainly come find me, or we can connect on it. But it basically walks you through different perspectives. Is it awareness? Is it knowledge? What is it that is keeping that person from being engaged? And you basically go through a rating scale. It's a very process-heavy, process-driven, individualistic change model that allows you to really identify, other than, well, this person just isn't getting on board, they're not aligned with what we're trying to do. It's really diagnosing why that is the case. So that'd be one suggestion I would have for folks that are looking to get people more committed, more engaged, is to really diagnose and understand why aren't they.
Great. How do we overcome internal entrenchment? That's a good question. You know, there's a lot of good change gurus over here on the speaking circuit. See, all you speakers are so bold to answer the questions when you're the one up top. You can be the expert here too. Who's got this one? Anyone else? All right.
I don't have the entrenchment answer, but I wanted to go back to the budget. I think something we regularly think of when it comes to client experience is what we're giving to the individuals, so it becomes very swag related, it becomes very training related, and just kind of thinking back to the ideas of experience design is about feelings, and it's about intentions, and it's about conversation, and looking into how we're being intentional about all of our communication. I think that's the first way that you can prove to your clients and create a better experience, is just being very intentional about all of your communication within your multiple touch points. So really kind of diving into that would be good.
And taking that same mindset internally, if you're not handling the emotional side of your internal people and the change that we're asking them to go through, how are we possibly going to expect them to handle the emotional side of the change that we're presenting out to the clients? So really thinking through those emotional touch points internally and building that communication plan that appeals to their emotional states and needs. And just like clients are one size fits one, your employees are often one size fits one as well. So everyone has a motivator, and it's finding out what those are and reaching those levels. I will gladly discuss at length my thoughts on our economic future over drinks later this evening, if anyone does want to talk through that. Over the last 70 years, our Keynesian mindset that runs the Fed and policy making, every time unemployment gets too low, they intentionally put the brakes on the economy by raising interest rates. They've already started to do that, so they introduce soft landings after boom times. That's policy. So why do I think a recession is going to come? It's what the Fed's been doing consistently, and it's a published policy of theirs that they do that. And jacking up interest rates, of course, disproportionately hits capital-sensitive markets like AEC and then the ancillary professional services around that. So we got 75 years of policy making on that. I also think there's a non-zero chance of some pretty major shifts in larger monetary and economic policy. We're seeing signs of the collapse of the petrodollar. If you don't know what the petrodollar is, a good thing to get to know about. The BRICS countries are really aligning to displace the dollar as the world reserve currency. So there is a real chance the US dollar will no longer be the world reserve, and that'll be a very big deal, particularly in the US domestic market, and can have all kinds of ripple down effects, especially in capital sensitive markets. So there's some really big nerdy stuff up there that I'm curious about. I could see, again, a non-zero chance of something really like once a century type a transition that we might be going through. And if not, it'll be a nothing burger for right now. There'll be some soft landing, and we're just going to push it down the road. But there are some underlying fundamentals that are long-term unsustainable from my perspective. So, but I don't have a PhD in economics. I'm just a hobbyist. So that's what Ryan really thinks. I think that's all the questions. So we are done. Thank you, everyone. You're rock stars. We'll see you soon.